Hello, everyone. It is the middle of the day. Time for a middle of the day kind of stream. It's that kind of a day. As always, I will ask if you can hear me. Right before I started, I realized the wrong mic was set up. So hopefully, we have the correct mic right now. I know this is not always a time when people can make it. So, as ever, I will leave it up. But I did something a bit different today, which is actually go to the comic book store on New Comic Book Day, which is not always what happens, but it was because my daughter really wanted to go and pick up this. It is currently with me because she is doing other things, but so I'm curious about it. I have not read it, although I'm pretty sure that what sold her on it was not the actual content, but this ad on the back for Batman Ninja. She kept asking where that comic is. She's like, where's this one? But today was also the day of Absolute Flash and the many, many variant covers. I almost bought the homage one, but I was like, oh, let's go with the standard so that I'll remember what the standard was in the coming days. And I've already read through it, so I'll be doing a whole video on that. And it's collecting thoughts because I always like to read things through more than once before diving right into it. But I have it right here, and everything's so reflective in this light. I already feel like I'm messing it up. I'm not normally a floppy person. But yeah. So it's this one I have to say it's a fairly quick read to get through it. And on the whole so far, at least as presented of the absolute books, it's the least different in terms of Wally as the Flash. There's a lot from the main universe that's still here in terms of his relationship with his father and things like that. We'll see how it goes and where it ends up in terms of how the powers work and things like that. But so far, I would say that's my phone alerting me that I'm live. I'm getting the notifications. I'm not the one who needs it. Oh. Zach Wise is asking, did we just get flashed? Yes. Absolutely. And Chemdog is singing the Flash Gordon theme, which is also what I think of whenever I hold it up. And there was one cover that was just a lightning bolt. And so that's 100% what I was thinking about when I saw that one. So let me see what else I can show you. Yeah. So this one also has a fair bit of time skipping around in terms of going to what happened before the start, a year later, all kinds of things. So it's putting you into different parts of what's going on with Wally, because it is Wally who is the main Flash so far. For those who have not been keeping tabs on who the Flash is going to be, you do see Barry. That's not a spoiler. They've talked about the fact in interviews that there is going to be some of the other Flashes around in different capacities. And yes, I saw someone say that, yeah, Crowley is saying the absolute Captain Cold was rocking the Omni-Man look 100%. There he is. He's rocking it so hard. And the boomerang is pretty edgy with how he uses his boomerang. So that was kind of fun. And at the very end, what I enjoyed the most, this is going to sound shady, but it's not meant to be at all, which is there was a preview for the Absolute Martian Manhunter. And that's just for me the most exciting because that's the one I'm the most excited for. And it looked really interesting. I'm very curious as to where that one is going to go. They've shown these online as well. But reading through it in its entirety, I am definitely intrigued. King of New York is saying, think, Wally, think. He's definitely going to have to after this issue. A decent amount happened to him, but this was also very much the most intro-y of the issues that I've read of all of them, even more so than Absolute Superman. So we'll see how it ends up going. I'm definitely going to keep on keeping on for these for a while. I need to do an update on Absolute Batman 6, because now that's that we have a nice 6 issues, and that's always a good chunk to take a look at. And, gotta dip back into some more recent stuff every now and again, catch back up with the news. Life stuff has been busy, so it's been difficult to catch up, but I have lots of exciting things that I've been reading that I'm looking forward to talking about. They're super duper niche, but there's nothing wrong with that. Which is this. I'm so excited to talk about this. I was actually sent this by Titan Comics, and it's a collection of, as you can see here, Will Eisner's John Law, the comic that was initially not ever released, even though he tried several times to kind of make the characters in it happen in different ways, but the stories ended up being repurposed for the Spirit after his comic line fell through after a couple of tries at producing his own things. And he was like, okay, we're not going to do that. But it has this history of then being rediscovered decades later, reprinted, but not entirely as was. And then him hiring out another person to make new adventures for John Law. And then you also have now this collected entirety reprint and just a bunch of the history surrounding the characters and what happened with them and how the stories were changed to fit the Spirit. And it's, I find it really fascinating from a historical point of view, especially looking at the way things moved with it and how years later when it came back, one of the stories that it ended up doing was a repurposed Spirit story, which feels very, very fitting. It's just very, very interesting. Let me see what all of you are saying. Jogron 2 is saying, hey, Casually Comics, hope you're doing good. Just found out my LCS is not getting their comics till next Monday. Oh no. So you have a bit of a wait. Yeah, Humongous. I think we are in trade territory at this point. They have some of it, Mind the Gap. And this is part of their hard case line where they do a bunch of detective and crime things. And I'm always fascinated by those older things. And as always, it's a nicely presented book, which always matters. I'm gonna have to film some of it like I did for the Foo action, which is back there. I always point the wrong way. But it looks great. And it's really interesting to see what direction the character was going to take as you go from the first gritty story about his origins to the story with a ghost. Just yeah, there's a ghost, like an actual. So it's a lot of fun. I find it fascinating. I really liked the section, if I can find it, where they show how, where they show how they repurposed the art and how little changes were actually required. And so there's some speculation on some historians' part that there was always the idea that maybe just in case these could become Spirit stories. And I just think that's really cool. Let me see. No. Is Flash built like absolute Bat? No. No, he is not. He's got a kind of what's meant to be a hipper, kind of look. I'll see if I can get a nice shot of Wally on his own to show you. Not when he's suffering, which is a decent amount of the time. Oh, also you can see that the title is Of Two Worlds, which of course is a reference to those classic crossover issues of the Flash when Barry met Jay on the Earth 1 and Earth 2 side of things. You can also see the color scheme is really nice, the way they integrate it throughout most of the issue, even around the edges. I see Crowley saying he's built like a teenage boy. Yeah, pretty much. I just want to see if I can grab one to show you what he looks like on his own, not being pursued. There we go. That's a pretty decent one. I've shown this page already, but it gives you a good idea of just the kind of look that they've got with the kind of shaved down sides a little bit. It's rocking a little bit of a mullet. They're bringing it back. Maybe people have all kinds of things to say about the mullet, like they did in the Sue Storm video. But apparently, I was informed that that was a bad '80s mullet. They're like there were good mullets and bad mullets, and this was a bad mullet. Here, now you can I'll turn it. I'm gonna bend it a little bit just so that you can't see too much. That gives you a good, decent look at him without showing what's going on too much on the panel. There you go. Iona's saying mullets are back. They are. They are. I've read several articles about like the fashionable mullets of today. It's cycles. It's all cycling. So many things are coming back. I wish I'd kept so many clothing items. Carter says every mullet is good mullet. Well, then you're ready. You're ready for the absolute. There's one cover where you can see it all on the side. It's just a complete side view of it. So maybe that's the one that you need. Oh, I'm seeing a lot of mullet support. Drew Cummings is saying they need to bring the super mullet back. I am also a fan of the super mullet. So I concur. King of New York is saying absolute mullet man. That's a different kind of character, I imagine. I also have this, which I'm excited to talk about at some point. Hopefully, Aubrey Sayers and I can actually talk about it together on stream. It's the Ashcan for Free Planet, which is this kind of starting of an epic sci-fi work. So this first one is very much lore. You know, sometimes when you start a kind of sci-fi or fantasy, I know those are two very different genres, even though they tend to lump them in the same section. But sometimes you start, it's like, okay, before we get started, we need to explain how this world works. This is very much that kind of a concept. What I really appreciated was that it was taking the time to be nuanced with an idea that really didn't have to be, and oft times is not presented as such. Let me see if I can open it and get it out without damaging it. I should be able to. I've done it before. There we go. Yeah. So you can see this is a numbered Ashcan. It was from the Comics Pro. And as you can see, there's a lot of text and stuff happening, but it's necessary and it is interesting because what this is working through is this idea of a seemingly successful rebellion on this planet that then renames itself as Lutheria and then tries to set itself up as a truly, completely free society. But it's actually working through how complicated and messy that would be, but not in a way that is being overly topical. It's more examining the concept from an outside, and it lets you think about it a lot in terms of what some of the imagery means and the like. And I appreciate that. I appreciate things that aren't trying to bop you over the head with stuff and actually think that you can think about things. So it's been interesting. And one of the things is I read it digitally first, but when I was talking to the author, he was saying that it's better to read it physically. So I'm making my way through it again physically, and I can say that definitely there are certain things that just read nicer, like the maps. And I'll see we've got maps, we've got maps and things to look at to explain everything. So this one's interesting. I've got a bunch of more indie type of fare that I've been taking a look at and I'm excited to talk about. Like I'm going to get to talk about Ram God again now that it's complete. So that's really exciting. The first 6 issues. There's just a lot of really fun things. So I should ask, I haven't even asked all of you, like, what are you reading? Tell me what you're into. Did you go pick anything up today or anything? Or are some of you also in the situation one of our other viewers was in where their things are late and they're not coming? Is that happening at your shops or what's going on with that? I think everything came. Again, I'm not a regular who goes every week, so I'm not sure. But I did see some people just walk in, giant stack, out. And then there was a lot of buzz and conversation around the section, the new area, which was fun. I actually had to fight my way to the front. So Oh, I understand my comic book store isn't even open yet. Mine opens early on new comic day. They're like, we gotta get you in. And even so, there was a line which I did not join because it is chilly. So I did not want to. Mm. Eldian Devil is saying rereading House of M if that counts. If you're reading it, it counts. It doesn't have to be a current thing happening at the moment. Whatever you're reading. So Marilyn is saying I do pickups on Thursdays. Is it like smoother, easier? We also picked up one of those those mystery kits that are all the rage where you can get different things. We got one for Lord of the Rings where it's like you can cast your own sword. It is currently casting. We shall see how it comes out, if it's successful or not. I have doubts. So mm. Lizzie Kill, thank you very much. Sonic XDC is out today. Yes, it is. It's right here. I have it. I will read it a bit later and perhaps discuss it like I talked about Naruto and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. There's a bunch of reviews out for this already that are like, it makes more sense than you I feel that's how a lot of crossover reviews start. Like, this makes more sense than you'd think. Like, even the KFC tie-in comics, there was like, yeah, this makes sense. Oh, here's our Hush preview. We're very, very close to Hush Tua, as people are calling it now. Are any of you picking that up? I'm very curious to see how that one goes. And embarrassingly enough, I'm gonna go and get the Harley Quinn Fartacular when it comes out to see like if it's actually scented or not and how pungent it is or isn't. If that is the case, maybe film a short / TikTok, because oh yeah, I'm on TikTok now because people were posting as me who weren't me. So I'm like, oh, I better get on there and actually post, I guess. So I am on there. I'm Casually Comics official. At first, I was official because I didn't realize I'd passed my character limit. And so it didn't fully fit. But after 7 days, I was able to change it. So yeah, I'm on there. I post things sometimes when the mood strikes. I'll probably post reactions to uh that. I'm gonna try and get someone to go with me so I don't have to go alone and buy it. Be like, no, look, I'm a person like this. You can have a conversation with somebody while you're buying it. Like, listen, I have reasons to be purchasing the Harley Quinn Fartacular. EST Comics, thank you very much. I've been reading just everything 90s X-Men. What are you in the mood for 90s X-Men? Sometimes that strikes. I've been reading a lot of Daredevil because of Daredevil Born Again. Are any of you watching Daredevil Born Again? I know some people are, some people aren't. I'm a little behind. I didn't get to watch last night's episode. I've had family in and it's been a lot of fun. So, priorities, other things have to wait. I will catch up. Hopefully, Amanda and I are going to stream some thoughts on it when I finally do catch up. I'm sorry, Amanda. I know you're waiting. I will get there. But if you are, what are you thinking of it? Are you enjoying it? Do you think that it's boring? Like, where are you at? I've seen so many different reactions to it. I see CBM saying buying the Fartacular requires justification. Oh, we've got salt. We've got salt. Lizzie Kill, thank you very much. You've been influenced. Am I an influencer? You're reading that Superman? Are you enjoying it? Are you enjoying Silver Age Superman? Is it fun? I hope you're having fun with it. I'm assuming SA is Silver Age because that's where my mind goes. I'm like, well, the Silver Age, peak Superman. Let's see. Yeah, I'm seeing. I'm seeing. Okay, so we have very different opinions. We have Mark C saying Born Again, terrible. Then we have King of New York. I'm loving it a lot. I think it's great. So we have very different. I've seen that across the board. I'm enjoying it. I will say that it is slow for sure, but the original one was too, and I liked that one. It wasn't my favorite Netflix series that they did, but I did enjoy it. And what I find the most fascinating is how they're trying to like approximate the tone of the original one, but like some of the things that don't fit, and seeing some of the storylines they're pulling from and the, sometimes almost direct panel recreations is kind of cool. And it's making me seek out those issues that I recognize, because Daredevil is something that I really enjoy but don't talk about on this channel again a lot. Amanda, absolute flat. Did you get it? Did you get it yet? We'll have to talk about it when you get it. So, because I think you and I was telling you, we're both planning on doing catch ups on all things absolute to see where we're at and that kind of thing. A 6-month in post mortem, like I did the year in for Ultimate Spider Man. I need to do another one for Ultimate X-Men, which there are there's less to catch up on there just because of pacing, but it's going to be interesting. Lots of thoughts. I'm seeing Dan V900 saying episode 1 was Frankenstein. Yeah, it's gonna be. I'm curious how it's all gonna come together. I am enjoying the return of week to week release of things. I have to say, it's nice. It's less overwhelming, and I feel like I can slot it into my schedule better. Oh, Iron Cardinal is asking, what was your favorite Netflix Marvel TV show? My favorite one was Jessica Jones. What was all of yours? Yeah, that was my favorite one. I think I would rank them like Jessica Jones, Daredevil, the Luke Cage, and then Defenders, and then Iron. But what about all of you? Oh yeah, I totally forgot about Punisher. Well, that says all how I felt about that. But oh, yeah, that doesn't bode well. Oh, I'm seeing people talking about Dan V900 saying John Bernthal said he wasn't happy with his original scenes. Yeah. Oh, let's see. Let me pull you up, Tully. Tully Television is saying Bernthal wrote his scenes because of how poor the original writing was. Ooh, there's an indictment. Now I want to see the original. You can't tell me things like that and not make me want to see the original. I want it. Now that's what I want. Yeah, I see how where all of you are ranking it. That's fun. That was a good time. We're in an interesting period of things coming out, and in almost like a bit of the quasi waiting space for the big summer blockbusters that are arriving, and the lawsuits with the Superman and all kinds of things. Everything is happening right now. There are so many things that are happening. One of the things that I'm interested in, because I also have a wee bit of news, because I figured why not also catch up on some of that. There is not as much at the moment because I think next week is going to be the big week. Yeah, it is, when a lot of things drop in terms of everything. But I'm interested in this. I'm curious of what they're going to try and do with it, because DC's done this a few times. But let me share my screen and then I can present it to you. And yeah, can I live with that? There we go. Struggles. I can live with that. I had a pre-made preset. That's what I was trying to do, but I think I've deleted it. They updated StreamYard right before I came on it, and my presets, they have been moved around. So they're doing another new history of the DC universe, which is one of those things where they try and they gotta cobble everything together again. So let's see. So on June 25th, it's going to be coming to comic shops, and it's going to be written by Mark Waid, and it's going to feature art by a rotating group of premier artists. And so it's going to be a 4-issue series that takes a fresh look at the DC Universe's past and present, seen through the eyes of It's Always His Fault, Barry Allen, aka The Flash. Yep, that seems accurate. So we have quotes Here from Wade saying, "This is my dream project. It's a chance to realign all of DC's sprawling continuity into one master timeline and to be joined by some of comics' greatest artists to make it shine with new information for even longtime fans, plus Easter eggs galore. This series will be an essential read for DC fans. New information." I can't hear that, like, brand new information. Good news, everyone. So, of course, I need to take a look at it every time. Every single time they do this, because I have a bunch on my shelf of when they try and make everything make sense, and I'm like, "I'm here." We have more quotes. We have artists as well. We have Todd Knox saying, "I'm having an absolute blast with this project. Mark has come up with something cool for me to draw on every page." That's nice. And it's been an honor to share art chores with a comics legend like Jerry Ordway. The DC editorial team has coordinated a wealth of deep dive references for me to draw from, and I'm learning new aspects of DC history I hadn't known before. And I've been reading DC comics for decades. Let's pull out the Cowboy Lantern. Cowboy Lantern featured on one of the covers of the Grant Morrison run as a variant issue. Let's get deep. I want a bunch of characters we've only seen once for them all to really matter. Please. As one of the artists who was part of Crisis on Infinite Earths in the 1980s, added co-artist Jerry Ordway, I am thrilled to be involved with telling the story of this newest DC universe with Mark and Todd. I'll be there. Of course I'll be. Look at these covers. I'll be there. This actually might be one of the rare cases where I seek out more than one cover. Iona is saying, "Oh, I need this now, not later." Mark Say is saying, "Cowboy Lantern is Kyle. Now, he was Indiana Jones Lantern. We can't take Cowboy Lantern away from the actual Cowboy Lantern, whose name I've forgotten, even though I did a video on him that I never posted." So I filmed a video of the Cowboy Lantern as a backup for when I need things, when I have, when I'm busy or sick, and I just never ended up posting it. Someday. Wow. Oh, that's intense. That's really intense. Oh, I see Wonder Woman gets her own special one. That's going to be interesting. I'm curious how we're going to deal with Diana, if we're going to have to crunch everything once more. That's nice. Hey, Sandman. Participating comic book shops will have details and pre-ordering beginning this Friday. So get ready if you're a comic book shop. But I'm definitely intrigued by this. This is just a nice cover, of course it is. But yeah, look, see, we're including her on the JSA. So like as we should. So we shall see. Chemdog is saying you need to get a second mortgage to afford these books. Yeah, some people had stacks, and I was like, couldn't be me. Unfortunately, really couldn't be me. But I also bought a graphic novel, so I got one of the volumes of the Sacrificers. I've been collecting that, and there's tape on the floppy. But it lives, and I got it off. Yeah, Mark Say is saying I'd love a deep delve on that one. I think that would be so fun. I am so excited to see what they're changing and what. Look, Zatara is on this cover. Zatanna's father. Look, Vigilante is on this cover. That's like, these are some. Why is Hush? Get him off. So what else do I have? Oh yeah, I know that they're relaunching the Fantastic Four again with another number one in July because they're going to do time travel. What's it saying here? Let me share it with you. Yeah. It's saying that they're looking for the Forever Stone, a massive granite that is also one of Earth's longest lasting rocks and is accessible in all time periods. And yes, Ben Grimm fights dinosaurs. Is it still Ryan North as writer? Yes. Yep, see, writer Ryan North has been training for this moment for a while by going back in time. How else would you train for that? The longtime Fantastic Four scribe has written a book on time travel and is behind Dinosaur Comics. Oh, he's got quotes. But as much as this first story involves dinosaurs and time travel, it's really about these four remarkable people and the depth of love they have for each other. People often think of the Fantastic Four in terms of family, and they're not wrong. But I think there's something really beautiful about friendship too. And we get to see that with these characters, it's high concept science fiction with real emotion. What's not to like? I know I hit friendship kind of sarcastically, but that's just because I've watched a lot of My Little Pony, Friendship is Magic and stuff. Whenever I hear friendship, it just automatically goes, the power of friendship, or Yu-Gi-Oh, or any of those things. Those things just start playing in my mind. So, okay, so we made it to 33 before we relaunched it. This book comes out in the middle of our One World Under Doom event, so you can be certain that he plays a role in those first few issues. Does he punch a dinosaur? And after that, we've got science, mysteries, monsters, and trips into space. So there we go. Marvel's first family ventures into worlds unknown. We're getting dangerously close to challengers of the unknown language there. And we need to stay away from that. There's enough similarities. Don't do it. This is a nice Sue on the cover though. Are you reading World World Under Doom? I need to catch up with that. There were a bunch of copies there. There was a lot of everything when I went, but I think this is because the shop I go to orders a lot of everything. It's pretty big. Yeah, I see a lot of people are like, oh, not a lot, but like some people are saying that they're reading it, which is cool. Oh, speaking of, Loner Shark is asking about like app subscriptions or mentioning them. Somebody had asked earlier if I still was working with Global Comics, and the answer is yes. And the code works all the time if anybody wants it. I still use that app again almost daily. It's how I get to read so many things. I read through all of the Weatherman on there. Well, actually, volumes 1 and 2, and then I had to go pick up everything because I enjoyed it so much. And that was a lot of fun. It's just always really interesting. Right now, they just dropped a bunch of IDW stuff because each week through March, they've been adding a bunch of things. The first week for me was the most exciting because they added a bunch of Star Trek things. But I know their last week is where they're adding a bunch of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle things. And I know some people are really looking forward to that. But every time I have to talk about IDW, I have to look at the logo again, their new logo, and it's so difficult to discern unless you know what it's supposed to be. King of New York is asking, are you still reading Ice Cream Man? I dip in and out of Ice Cream Man. It's one of those things where sometimes I'll let it pile up for a couple of months and then I will come back to it. I do that with a couple of series where I don't necessarily pick it up every single month. Does anybody else do that? And eventually some things, end up just becoming trade waiting if it goes long enough. Mind the Gap is saying, was another Marvel editor ranting about the Peter MJ relationship? I don't know. Potentially. I did see Dustin Wynn's I'm trying to pick the word for it. His his frustration. Let's use frustration. His justified frustration with Marvel in terms of like their rates and working with them and their contracts and surrounding artists and the like. I did see that because that made the rounds quite a bit. I'm sure a lot of people saw that one. Yes, I am reading Jim Zub's Conan. I am. I keep up with that one. I am fortunate enough that since I interviewed him, I'm on the press list for it now, so I get to read it as it comes out, which is a lot of fun and it's still so good. It's just such a solid read. If you like Conan, that's what you're getting. You just get decent, more than decent, like this good solid Conan like every month. It's a lot of fun. Maybe we'll need to dip back into that too. See, now I'm just giving myself ideas for update videos and things that I want to discuss. What are some things that you're excited to talk about as things are unfolding and the comics trickle out as we lead into the summer of Superman that awaits us all? Because there's going to be a lot. It's one of those things where it's a slow burn and then it's all going to drop on all of us all at once. I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be that kind of fun, hectic. Iron Cardinal is saying, "I didn't know IDW changed the logo. That looks so weird." There were press announcements about it when they did it. It was like when Staples changed its logo, and they're like, "Behold, now it is a staple." Chemdog, this is true. Chemdog is saying that Conan is pretty solid himself. That is very true. I had to catch up on Moon Knight. Last Moon Knight I was seeing was when I was talking about Muse and the Muse character arc. I was trying to figure out how to title that one to make sure that it passed through all of the YouTube barriers, and I think it made it. But it's also just difficult to title things like that when you're like, "So he's an artistic serial killer. Please don't hurt me, YouTube." Also, I didn't hit it very hard in that video, but there's this section where during his first arc, which is called Dark Art, he creates this mural made of the blood of over 100 victims. And there's this whole scene where Matt is at the mural and he smells it and he goes and he's like, "Yes, you can smell that it's over 100 people." And then time passes at least a day, more than a day, like a decent amount of time has passed. And at the end of the arc, they find all the people hanging upside down in Muse's warehouse. They're kind of being like bled into these buckets that he has the supply of blood, which also doesn't entirely make sense because it would congeal unless he did something to it. But then they're also alive. And I'm just like, I don't know. I'm not you're I could suspend so far, but for some reason for me, this is a bridge too far. Let's see. Yes, Zatanna. It was issue 2 of Zatanna. I'm reading that one digitally, so I'm gonna read that one a little bit later. I'm looking forward to it. I enjoyed the first issue of Zatanna a lot, so I'm hoping the second issue is also fun. Marilyn is saying, "I'm looking forward to Crypto, the last dog of Krypton. I'm a sucker for anything on Krypton." I'm looking forward to Crypto as well. I really enjoy like classic Silver Age Crypto stories when he just has his own adventures entirely and his own thought balloons and all of that stuff. And they're a lot of fun. Mime is asking, how does 100 people smell different from like 50 people? He's just that good. Okay. The Daredevil's senses. During that run, he could, and sometimes he still can, he could do this thing where he could just like project outwards and assume all of these so much sense. I do like his costume during that era in the 2016, the black on red, or like the tiny red accents on the black costume. Marilyn is saying, but still I say Streaky book when. I know, especially now that I think Streaky's going back to being Supergirl's cat. Maybe they'll address that's the kind of nonsense that I want addressed in the DC universe or making it all make sense book. Like that would be my dream project. Of like all those big details about how the universes fit together. No, we're going to just address these really tiny details. It's just going to be like an issue of this is when Supergirl got her cat back. And this is when Clark moved from an apartment to like a condo, just things like that. Completely useless, trivial information. Like that would be perfect. There's a niche out there somewhere for that. Common Sense is asking what we're going to see in Absolute Flash. We shall see. We shall see. There's a panel at the very end where it unveils some of what's in store for Wally and what we can expect. And like you don't see too much of what he's going to be up against in the first issue. Basically, you get his situation, some hints about what's going on with him and his family life. You get to see his relationship with Barry. You get to see powers, and you get to see a snippet of a couple of the villains. And they've shown them that so you can see Captain Cold, Boomerang. You can see that Trickster is there, the version of Golden Glider, all of that kind of stuff. And you kind of get to see how some of their tech and powers work a little bit. Again, this is the most primary, I think, of all the like absolute number ones that I've read so far. I think the one that threw you in the deepest was probably Wonder Woman in terms of just like, okay, let's go. Even though they also had a lot of explanation in that one too. I just hit it because it was that much explanation. Ben Chan is saying the big book of editor's notes, all of them. It would be like a tome. Just a giant tome of all these pages. Like these pages needed editor's notes, and here's what they would have gone to. I would actually, I think I'm the only one who would enjoy a book like that. I see a couple of people saying that they're excited for Supergirl's new ongoing series. Yeah, I'm definitely going to check that one out too. And it made me go and take a look back at some of the different costumes she had in the 70s to try and parse out exactly which ones were inspiring this new outfit, because there is clearly, even before the artist said that he designed it with some of that in mind, there's some clear influences there inside that costume. Kings New York is saying Last Days of Lex Luthor #2 came out too after 2 years. I saw it there. It was big and oversized too. I was like, oh hey, it's on the shelf. Alithid Lore is saying, oh hey, just got back from my LCS. What did you pick up? What did you pick up from there? I don't think there's gonna be a Kid Flash in the Absolute Universe. They mentioned that in one of the, if you read through Jeff Lemire's newsletter, which I do on occasion, when I recall that Substack exists, which sometimes it'll flee from my brain, and other times I'll be like, oh right, all these people have Substacks. Sometimes it's harder to forget because if it's like Man with a Hat, which is like Tom Brevoort, where he'll sometimes like saltily answer fan questions and stuff like that. But yeah, Jeff Lemire's like Tales from the Farm, where he'll like update you on things. Right now, it's a lot of talk about Black Hammer returning and stuff like that. That's old. Why is it organized like this? Why is your page like this? There we go. Yeah, he did a Q&A on Absolute Flash a while ago on the 13th of February. So sometimes it's good to go and check those things out and just see what the creators are saying about it themselves. I find that interesting anyway. Jean Remy is saying, I also saw the panel of Absolute Batman kicking a kid, and I'm excited to know the context. Well, we're going to get there when we do our recap of everything. Oh. Yeah, so I just wanted to pop on quickly. Like, I know this is super quick and super random, but I just wanted to share some of those things. Why I'm gonna pop off is because I wanna reread this, and then I want to script and get ready to film and edit and put all of my thoughts, together to discuss with all of you. So hopefully in the coming days, ideally, if everything aligns by Friday, then that would be then we'll have it. And we can discuss it. I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to seeing what all of you think. I know some people haven't gotten it yet too. So that's going to be a lot of fun. So as always, thanks so much for taking just a brief break in the middle of your day with me to discuss some comics. I hope that all of you enjoy the rest of your day, night, evening, whatever it is. And of course, we'll be back soon with more everything. More streams, more vids, more shorts, all of that good stuff. So I will see you back when I see you. And until then, keep on keeping on. Bye.